What is up, everybody? Lines on Paper here, and I think it's far past time we discuss the current X-Men books and what's going on. So before we get too far into that, my comic book, Malevolent Rising, issue number 4, is currently funding on Indiegogo. Please check that out. Now, I covered the X books a little over a week ago when they announced the lineup of the new X-Men team. And like we described, like we talked about earlier, the lineup was pretty basic. No real surprises there other than probably Sync. And we've got Laura Kinney, X-23, in for Wolverine rather than Logan, which, mileage may vary on that choice. But these current X books, starting off with this planet-sized X-Men number 1, is kicking off something called the Hellfire Gala. So the Hellfire Gala is supposed to be this big formal ball expo thing where the X-Men characters, heroes and villains, are going to come together in this big fashion show and talk about the state of Krakoa and what they're doing going forward. And I had to stop as I'm watching the adverts for this and just think to myself, what are we even doing? Now, somebody pointed out, as I posed this question to social media, that the X-Men have, in the comics, they've been depicted having a baseball game or going out to dinner or something, and nobody's really had a problem with it. And, I get that point, but at the same time, this is a 14-issue crossover event based on the Hellfire Gala, which is basically a ball. And if you've seen any of the advertising for this event, it basically looks like Fashion Week in Paris more than a superhero book. And for well over a month now, the X-Men advertising has been what people are planning to wear to this dance. And I'm just waiting for the next leg of who's going with who. And I don't know. This just seems out of hand to me now. I've been reading all the X books. I've been giving them a chance. This direction, to me, while I find it interesting, at least interesting enough to keep my attention, I haven't really... This doesn't feel like an X-Men book to me anymore. The X-Men themselves, everyone seems to be acting a bit out of character. A lot of characters that are normally front and center have just kind of been pushed to the side and are almost just set pieces. I mean, really, the main characters have ended up kind of just being Xavier, Magneto, and Apocalypse. And while those are cool characters, I miss some of the interpersonal dynamics. They touch on kind of some of this stuff, and they get a little bit more into it in some of the side books. But I don't know. There's not enough. The interpersonal drama is not there, which has always been kind of a staple of the X-Men books for me. And at the same time, I miss them just being superheroes. I don't like this weird, we're on our separate island and we're activists, and they almost seem like everybody has Magneto's mindset. And to me, I don't know. It just hasn't been overly working for me. Like I said, it's been interesting enough to where I've been reading them lately. They've been kind of stagnating. We just got finished with the X of Swords event, and just a quick synopsis of that storyline. We had an incursion from like another dimension. The X-Men were going to go fight in a tournament that never really kind of materialized. They were betrayed from the inside. They ended up fighting a couple of battles, but it really ended up just kind of being a marital spat between Apocalypse and his wife and children, and the entire story reconciles with the X-Men becoming victorious and Apocalypse fixing his marriage. So that's what we've got. We've got Apocalypse in marriage therapy. Now we've got the X-Men going to a dance and who's going to be wearing. It is, in my opinion, has kind of gone off the rails here. So I've been just kind of going through these images as we're going through of, the X-Men in these weird formal attires that everybody's wearing. And I mean, again, what are we even doing? This is supposed to be kind of superhero action-y adventure, stuff with, like I said, the X-Men have always been about interpersonal drama and the relationships. I understand all of that. But at the same time, I think it's time we need to take a step back and start asking, what are the X books doing? I mean, where are we going with this? I thought when this started, when we had House of X and Powers of X, we had a clear direction of what this run was going to be. And here we are a year or a year and a half, I think, later since this started. And I don't know where this is going. and I'm trying to keep invested in it because X-Men is one of the first comics I ever collected. I love the characters. I love the books. I was excited when we were getting a new direction. Unfortunately, be careful what you wish for. Sometimes the new direction is Apocalypse and marriage therapy or couples therapy, and all of the X-Men heroes and villains going to a dance together, and we're treated to 2 months of this endless fashion show of what the mutants will be wearing to this very fancy ball. So anyway, that's my opinion. I would really love to know what you think. Talking online, it looks like there's some people that are really interested in this storyline, and I really like to hear from you. What about the storyline interests you? What angle am I not seeing? What should be drawing me in that I'm not paying attention to? If you are like me and are kind of looking at these books and saying, what in the world is even happening? I would love to hear from you too. Are you still reading the X books? Do you plan to pick up the Planet-Size X-Men and the Hellfire Gala storyline, or are you going to pass on this one, or have you passed on the X books a while ago? Let me know your thoughts below, and while you're there, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow, helps us produce more comments, and let me know what you think of this video, and check out my other videos. Let me know what you think of those so I know what kind of content to produce going forward. So those are my thoughts. Anyway, thanks for hanging around and talking to me, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.